content catch-up.
All right, Jules. I'm very excited today because we're not only joined by our first international guest, but it's in my world, the NBA. And I've already said this to Nick, but I'm rocking my Clippers. I do have a soft spot for the Hornets. Nick, welcome to the show. Very happy to have you.
Thank you
And
for
a round
having
of
me.
applause.
Yeah, a round of applause. Whoa. We got to see what I say first before we applaud. No, it's super exciting to be on. We've got to get both you some Hornets gear now since you decided to wear the Clippers shirt on the air here. So we'll work on some new Buzz City is what we call it. Some new Buzz City
Buzz
gear.
City. I really like that. I've never heard that before.
Buzz City, it's kind of something we use for marketing, for ticket promotion. No tickets this year, but just different things like that. We call it Buzz City. You know, the hive is alive in Buzz City. So we've got all of these is it alliteration? No, it's just rhymes. Just
I think that's what I'm in love with. I mentioned my soft spot for the Hornets before, but your brand, especially your throwback brand, that's just what I love. But tell us what's going on in your world. You're in the heavy grind of the training camp. What is it, day 4, day 5 of training camp? How's it going?
Yeah, so it's day 5 of training camp after 9 months pretty much of no basketball, no games. We recently had a chance to go into our own little bubble in Charlotte and work out for 2 weeks before training camp. This happened about a couple months ago, but now with the new draft picks and everyone coming into the building, meeting everyone for the first time, getting in our new free agent, Gordon Hayward, just trying to integrate everyone. This has been the past 5 days we've been in the gym working out. It's no secret. It's been on our pages. We've been trying to, just get everyone familiar with one another, right? Lamela, Gordon Hayward, Vernon Carey is our second round pick. We're just trying to get everyone to know each other during these crazy times, because this will be the most accelerated start to a season that the NBA has ever tried to do. Why is that? Well, they want the money for the Christmas Day games to just get the revenue going. And as an NBA employee, I applaud that effort because obviously we're still employed, and the more, the faster we can get to play games, the more valuable we become and the more money that the league gets. So I'm all in for whatever the NBA wants to do. But yeah, it's been a super crazy 5 days and it's only getting started. So I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. I'm trying to work on my strength and conditioning and stay focused and everything.
Remembering your laptop?
But it's been tough. I have my laptop. You saw it in the pictures.
Barks.
I did see it.
You can't be so mean to our guests straight off the bat.
So when
honestly.
When we recorded the last episode, Jules was very offended that I gave you my egg of the week, and then I had to clarify that you ticked it off.
It was a pretty egg move, right? But I mean, obviously we could have done it on the phone, but we wouldn't have had the mic. We wouldn't have had the whole 9 yards. So I wanted to make sure that we did it right. Although my lighting's a bit weird right now because the sun is coming directly at me, we're in a good spot. So
it's all good. I mean, I'm glad that you're getting back into the strength and the conditioning as well, because you're going to be lugging all that camera gear around for the rest of the season. Before we jump in too much further into your life in basketball, and trust me, we can't wait, we have this little segment when we're meeting new guests called the 1 minute brief. So we're going to ask you a few questions. You're just going to rapid fire and get back to us. Are you ready?
All right. Yes.
Okay. So aside from Nick, do you have a nickname?
I do. Big Money. Do you need an explanation?
We're going to need an explanation for that.
So there's a lot of things being made, like, can you give yourself a nickname, or does someone have to give you the nickname? Well, I gave myself this nickname.
Has it stuck?
I don't know if it's really stuck. I like to refer to myself as Big Money, but I don't think I will say people don't walk around the halls calling me Big Money. It's just something that I've kind of tried to get people to say because I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny. There is no reason. There's no reason. I just think that whenever I do, it's Big Money. That's Big Money. That's a Big Money video right there, right? So
I rate that, and I can see Barks employing something similar when he starts sending us videos now.
I'm not sure that I'm that bold to enforce a self-given nickname.
You brought in Barks, didn't you?
No, that was you guys.
Yeah, sorry, take it back. Big Money, what is your job title?
Job title is associate producer, but there's so many things that fall under the umbrella of associate producer. It's not just shooting video and editing video. and coming up with concepts. It involves a lot of other things like there's a lot of reporting involved actually, because sometimes I'm the only one on the road with the team. I'm the only content person. So therefore, sometimes I'm in a position to ask questions, to try to drive narratives after games, after wins or losses. Just there's many things that fall under the umbrella. I also take photos, which I have learned over the past year. So there's just a lot of things involved. I think we all try to wear as many hats as we can and be as valuable as we can in different ways. So yeah, the title is associate producer.
That's something that's really common across, well, now hearing it sounds like it's common across every sporting digital or media producing job, because you're right, you just got to do everything that gets thrown at you at some stage. One that might not be such a short answer, but what's the favorite bit of content that you've worked on?
I was thinking about this because I thought this would be asked. There's, if you just look back over the past 2.5 years, I would say I had a chance. I don't know if you guys have seen this actually. I had a chance to follow around our second round pick, Cody Martin, around Vegas Summer League last year. When we didn't have Summer League this year, obviously. It's where all the rookies and the young guys on teams get to go play in Las Vegas for 2 weeks. And it was just a total behind the scenes feature series on Cody Martin and what was going on, him being a rookie into the league. That was really fun to put together. And recently, the Lamela Ball highlight that I did, very simple, took less than 2 hours, received great feedback from the league, Lamela fans, obviously, Hornets fans, and it really drove excitement. So that was a fun little highlight that I did. And then I look back to all-star coverage in all ways. That's always fun. That's always fun to look back on because you hardly sleep on All-Star Weekend. So those are three of the things that really stick out to me as favorite pieces of content. But in general, I'm kind of labeled the behind the scenes guy. So I'm always the one there with the camera, kind of in a corner, like they know I'm there, but they try to act like I'm not there. Then they point at the camera and they're like, oh, then they give me something. So behind the scenes is kind of like my wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
I'm not super big into like hands-on, produce a video for 10 hours production guy. I'm more of a like organic content type of person. So that's more my style. So any of those types of pieces are ones that stick out to me.
What we like to call the more important moments.
I think so too. And I don't want to spend a week working on something that's relevant now. Does that make sense?
Yes. So true.
So that's a big thing of mine. If it's relevant and timely, we need to get it out now or today or tomorrow. We don't need to try to produce it. We do need to produce it, but not in a way that delays it a week, right? Yeah. So that's my 2 cents on that.
I don't think we'd disagree with you. But the last one that we're going to get is a non-work skill that you rate yourself most highly in.
Other people will disagree with this. I'm just telling you. But fantasy football is my wheelhouse outside of the NBA and what I do at work. I think I am a great fantasy football player for the National Football League. I think that I know the players the best. I put together great teams year in and year out, even if I lose. Right. So I just think I'm an elite fantasy player. I actually used to host a fantasy football podcast.
Here we go.
I would like to think that I know a little bit about something.
That's like our old video producer. We have something similar here called Supercoach. He actually used to host a YouTube series on Supercoach, and he also rates himself quite highly in that space. It's an odd space. Not odd as in weird, but it's interesting how into fantasy football people get. It's a lot.
Oh yeah, it's part of it. I think that you could argue that people learn the game a lot through fantasy sports in general. Yeah. Through doing that, you're more inclined to watch more games. You're more inclined to study more and just be more up to date with everything. So it's really taken over here. People love fantasy football, and everyone has an opinion on it. So it's been really good, and I think I'm a great player.
There you go, audience. You now know 1 minute more about Nick. Or big money.
Big money.
I mean, it went like 5 minutes, but I'm sorry.
That's fine. You get such a good insight into those two questions, I reckon. Big money and fantasy football, and then you sort of know who Nick is. Well, sort of. You touched on a lot there. I can't wait to get into LaMelo Ball, and there's sort of that link with Australia there. But to kick us off, I think we'll go straight from the top. And speaking very much on someone from my love of basketball and NBA, it seems like an insane sort of job to work for an NBA team. How do you find it? How long have you worked there? Yeah, what's it like?
What is it like? So, I want the audience to know that I interned for the Hornets for one entire year. Okay. So it wasn't that I do feel like I had to earn my place with the organization, gain the trust of people, and work my way into this position. So I started as an intern the summer after graduation from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Um, it's really hard to get an MBA job right out of college. So I knew that if I accepted the internship that I had applied for and was offered to me, it was a good avenue to get into the league, so to speak. But I knew it wouldn't be easy. So I interned an entire year, virtually unpaid. It was paid a little bit, but I did take a small financial hit trying to live here and complete that internship. And then it just so happened a job came open, and that was when I was able to secure the full-time role over a year and a half ago today, or not today, about a year and a half ago.
Wow.
So that's just a little bit about how I got into it. But what is it like? I like to tell people 80%, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this too. 80% of what I do involves me waiting in some capacity. Do we agree with that?
Yes.
I think so. You can't do what we do without being reactionary and being that fly on the wall you spoke about before.
I just like a lot of we do is set up, be ready. We're hoping to get players at this time, but we don't know when we're going to get them. We don't know how long practice is going to go. It's just a constant balancing act of being on your toes, being ready when your number is called, sometimes being ready even when you're not ready, right? You could just be sitting there doing something and they say, oh, we've got this right now. Grab a camera, grab a mic, let's go. Right? So it's just a constant 24/7 pace. And I think that's what makes it fun, right? We don't want each day to be the same. Otherwise, it would not have any variety, and we would not have as much fun in what we do. Because part of it is adrenaline. I love the adrenaline. I love the big moments. That's what I'm going to miss about the NBA, most likely not having fans this year.
Yeah.
It's just the adrenaline, feeling the energy, the pressure to do well. And there's still pressure to do well, but the fans were a big part of it, just being in those crowded arenas, hearing the noise. But yeah, to go back to the question, because I can go off on a bunch of different topics. To go back to the question, it's just a constant balancing act of all of your responsibilities and duties, and just trying to prioritize what's important, what needs to be done now, and what can be done later. But I'm open to your guys' thoughts on from your realm too. But that's sort of the way that I view my position.
Yeah. Do you still pinch yourself of what you do? Because I know I do, working for Carlton, and I know it's hectic. I know there's a lot of pressure, high-paced environment. You sort of don't get a lot of time to switch off, and that's sort of part of the difficult part to what I've found of people sticking long-term in this business. But do you still have that appreciation of what you're doing for a living, and those pinch yourself moments?
I do, and I think everyone should, because the moment that you lose that is the moment when you need to get out. Because we should go to work every day knowing that we're in a very fortunate position to work for who we work for, and to be doing something that we do love so much, because not everyone has that same luxury, right? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and also I always operate under the mindset that someone else can do exactly what I do, right? In fact, they can probably do it much better than I can do it. I know I'm not the best shooter. I know I'm not the best editor. But I will tell you one thing, I know nobody works harder than me, and I know no one can outwork me. And that is what I think separates me. And that's why I say that every single day to myself. Someone else wants my position. What can I do today to prove that I am here to stay and that I'm in this thing, right?
I don't know about you, Jules, but I'm ready to run through a wall.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's a real athletic mentality, isn't it? But I think that's also important to take into a job like this, because what you were saying before, Nick, is it's right. You've always got to be on your toes. You've always got to be ready, or not ready to be ready, but like, if that makes sense, like you just always be switched on. And I don't know if you've ever worked a regular, not shitting on anyone else that's got a job outside of sport, but like a regular 9-to-5 job after you've worked in sport, you look at your phone and it just doesn't buzz up anymore, and you're like, well, what's happening? There's got to be something happening. Or you go home at 5 o'clock and you've got all this spare time and you're like, all right, I don't know what to do, but surely something's going to pop up in an hour when I'm least expecting it. You're right. The adrenaline of it all is crazy.
Yeah, and I think that you, as a content creator, I think you need to find a way to grab that energy and use it, because I don't know about you guys, but like team success and team failures, I think that I feel it as much as our team and our staff does, because I invest myself in it and I want to feel that because it drives the work that I do too. I like to joke with people that I love away games when they were fans, because like I would be on the court pregame with our team, all the other fans against us, the other team against us. And I loved when the other team did their introductions for their starting lineup. I absolutely love it because I'm on the floor, our team's lined up, they're kind of on looking the introductions and the hype music, and it just feels like we're going to battle. And I feel like I'm part of that battle. I feel like I'm holding up my end of it. Players are holding up their end of it. Let's go. That's just how I feel. And if I do that, that helps me do my job. I know it sounds weird. Other people may not operate that way. That's how I operate. I like to feel like I'm on the battlefield with these guys.
No, I love it.
That's how I do it.
No, I can completely say that as well. We do a little bit of travel here, and there's obviously teams that there's more rivalry against, and you do feel it when you head into an opposition stadium. So, for example, Barks, like when we go over to Western Australia and the Eagles or the Fremantle fans are going nuts at you, and you're like, well, I'm not part of the team, but now I feel like it.
Yeah, you also are part of the team. There is that something about that. I guess it is the hostility that it's just like the energy that sport brings, and when you're on the other end of it, and what some people might see is a negative way, is actually the most enjoyable in a way.
Yeah. I guess kind of building on that and the demands and having to be ready all the time, Nick, do you ever feel like it's such a long slog? Like, how do you keep motivated throughout like the NBA season? Because it's obviously a long season compared to what we have over here and to what some other sports have.
It is a long season. There's no doubt about it. There is no doubt about it. We're going to go 72 games this year, not 82.
Yeah.
We didn't get to finish last season, but I will tell you, toward the end of the season, I was wearing down a little bit, as anyone would. You just start to feel it. But I'm going to take my coach speak here and say that we do take it day by day. We don't look ahead too much. This year's going to be a little different because we do have to plan out our travel schedule a little further and figure out what we're doing due to COVID restrictions. We're tested every day now. We can't go out of market and come back in. Yeah. We have to like go through a bunch of extensive protocols. So it will be more planning involved. But I do approach it day by day. I just say, what is most important today? Let's get it done. And then we move to tomorrow. So that's what you just have to tell yourself. And yeah, there are 3-4 games a week sometimes, maybe even 5. Hopefully not. It's 4 at the max normally. So just shooting those games, it is tough. It really is. I guess I just don't think about it, but it is tough. I also have a team of great people that work with me. So I'm not doing everything, never doing everything, just doing my job, which is a lot, and they're doing a lot. And then it all kind of comes together. And we try not to work too hard, but we all do. And we all put in 60-hour weeks during the season, if not more. But yeah, you're making me think about it. It is a long season. It is a long season, but it's all about that mental toughness, something LeBron doesn't have.
Bloody hell, you're gonna take a lot from me not to bite during this episode. No, I can respect your LeBron dislike. We're gonna talk about that. What we will talk about though is let's get onto the draft. We'll go into Lamela Ball shortly, but from the very top, I'm curious what it looks like behind the scenes. So you had pick number 3 this season. What does that look like? So even just as an example, you're told names you realistically might draft to that pick. What does the prep look from your end?
Yeah, the prep from my end was not we have another person that does something similar to what I do, but he does more of the editing. Are you familiar with After Effects and all of that stuff?
Yeah.
He works in those programs, so he was able to go through and design templates for all of the top prospects. And we didn't do just like 5 or 10. We did like the entire first round. And we built out templates for each player. So we were ready if that player were drafted. Because, we had number 3, but who was to say we didn't trade back What if we traded back to 8, 10? We don't know. So we had to be ready if we were to get a player in that range. So we had different video templates built out for each player for the entire first round from the mock drafts. So it was a long process for my coworkers behind the scenes. I was not involved in that, but I was around the draft venue during the draft. So that was quite the experience. We will potentially have a behind the scenes piece on that soon. We'll see. So it was really good. But yeah, I mean, draft preparation was crazy. It seemed like it came as soon as it went, like it came super fast. But having a top 3 pick, obviously very fortunate to be in the top 3. We were projected to be like 8, right? But we finally got a break in the lottery and moved into 3, which is the first time in the history, like in 10 years or so, that we've moved up from our projected draft slot. So what a good year to be in the top 3 though, right? It was 3 top prospects. And after that, the experts say that there was a dip off in production. So the top 3 were very good. So luckily we were able to get, in my opinion, what will be the best player of that draft at 3.
So so your team would realistically, they would have prepped, say 30 players.
Yeah, if not more.
If not more,
But definitely 30. And they did.
Because we've got our drafts tomorrow night. Actually, we don't have any top picks. It's all virtual as well. But yeah, it's interesting because like from my end as a video producer, it's a sort of a similar thing in terms of getting highlights ready. And I think last year we just got 20 to 30 highlights of players ready. But because we've got a lower pick this season, it's not quite the same. But yeah, no, it's an interesting insight. Did you have any? You might not be able to answer this, but did you have a player that you loved, or out of the top prospects?
Yeah, I really liked Wiseman. I mean, I just really did. I love a good big man. I like Edwards. Had some questions. This is just me personally talking, but I love Ball for the upside and for the superstar power, and just the all around player that he is. Good size at the guard position. So I love Ball. I think Vernon Carey, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He was from Duke in the second round. Great pickup for a big man. He had a first round grade by most teams from what ESPN reported. So I love Ball, and that's who we got. So could not be happier, nor could the organization. They're thrilled.
Well, let's take that and run then. With Ball, did you have anything crazy planned from a digital perspective before you headed in, or did you think just play it cool and let his personality do the talk? Like, what was the process of coming up with content around that signing?
Yeah, so the plan is let Ball speak for himself, and I will tell you that our social engagements and numbers have seen such a dramatic jump. It's ridiculous, almost 1,000%, almost 1,000% in just engagements, likes, everything from that nature. And it's from his following, it's from his superstar power, it's from the fandom that follows him and the Ball family. We knew that was going to come with it, and boy, has it helped get eyes onto our content, and we are very thankful for that. But at the same time, we also have to make sure that we're covering the team in its entirety and not making it the Lamela Ball show. So that is something we're going to have to balance too. But we want to cover everyone the same, and I think we have. I don't think we favored anyone over the other. We still want to keep our core guys, in the mix, and cover everyone, and I think we have. But yes, it is an absolute just bonanza of fun covering LaMelo Ball. Everything he does is with a smile. He's exuberant. He's happy. He's willing to learn. He's asking questions. You could not be more impressed with how he's come into the league in his first year.
We saw it.
I think that. Sorry, Bucks, you go.
So I was just going to touch on it. We saw that firsthand with the LaMelo Ball effect. With obviously he came from Illawarra Hawks, so we had the Ball experience here, and I'm sure you've seen all the videos of, I think he's traveling down one of the main streets in Sydney there, and he's just getting absolutely hammered with fans. And it's a cool insight, and it's sort of a lucky link we've got by having you on, that we did experience that here in Australia. But I think you touched on LaMelo being LaMelo, and I think my brother works at the NBL, so that's the league that he was from, obviously, and him and RJ Hampton went around and shook the hands of every single employee on the first day where they met everyone at the NBL office. So that's just a little, I guess, first impression that I got from LaMelo. He seems like a good kid.
No doubt about it. He already knows everyone's name in the building. The first day that I met him, he asked what my name was. I told him, and the next day it's what's up, Nick.
Did you say big money?
Yeah, so you didn't go with big money.
I got to keep it cool. I got to keep it low profile. I got to keep it about them, not about me. I just told him it's Nick. If you ever need anything, let me know. We'll try to get it to you as soon as we can. But just they say he has a photographic memory, and I would venture to say it's true, because especially on the court right now, he looks very good, processing things well. There is no like rookie wall that I've seen. Like, it seems like he's full force go. And like I said, we just did media day with him today. He is so used to having cameras in his face all the time and pictures, and he's already like knowing what poses to do before he's even told. Right? It's just like second nature to him. He could do this with his eyes closed. So it's really been a pleasure to see him come into the league.
That's exciting when you get someone like that that's kind of like a ready-made star, especially from a digital perspective, because it means you can just be like, we've got all these cool ideas that we want to do. Or even if you're just filming behind the scenes stuff, you can just get even more because they're so open to the world of digital. Like we have several older players on our team, and older I mean 30-ish, but they didn't grow up with digital and social media in their face all the time. So sometimes convincing them to do stuff is a little bit harder. Whereas you get the younger kids who are just coming up through the draft or 1 or 2 years in the system, and they're so much more willing to be part of your creativity and have some fun with it. Is that something you find as well?
That's 100% true, Jules. And you can just tell LaMelo has it. What is it? Everything. I mean, everything. We have a lot of players that went to big college basketball programs like Duke, Kentucky, and Kansas. And it's very clear that they come in and they're used to it as well. They've been around big media, but they're more closed. They're more closed off because they've been media trained and they know how to answer questions and stuff. But I think that LaMelo comes in with a little different perspective. Like, he doesn't put on a different hat when he speaks to the media. He speaks just like he would speak to you right now. For sure, just like different things that he says. He's very candid and doesn't hide anything. So it's been very, very refreshing, because the players that we have, they're more closed. And I think LaMelo is going to open all of them up, and it's going to help. It's going to help everyone from a content lens only.
Yes.
From a content lens only.
I think we saw that as an example of when LaMelo Ball arrived at the facility for the first time. I'm going to assume that was you walking with him down the tunnel.
That was me with a little Ronin Steadicam, trying not to fall.
I feel like that's a good example of just those young sort of prospects. That I feel like, I'm guessing there wasn't much instruction you had to say to LaMelo. He sort of just talked how he'd be used to the camera being in his face.
He did. I did pry with a couple questions. I think I just said, you just got here. What's going on? And, how's the first day? What are you looking to bring to the team? Just those basic questions. I told him day one, I'm only here to make you look good. I'm not here for any other reason. That's one of my main purposes. Make you and the team look good. I'm never going to make you feel dumb. I'm never going to ask you a tough question. If I ever ask you a tough question, tell me and just don't answer it, because that means it's not a good question.
That's such a very good point, especially with young players. Like, establishing that trust early, you get so much more out of them, don't you?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. That is what we try to do with them day one. We're internal. We're here for you. We're here for the team. We just want to help everyone surrounding us. We don't want to ask tough questions. We don't want to put you on the spot ever.
Yeah.
We never want you to be uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable, say it, and then that's on us. So. Yeah.
We're not. What's that guy from Twitter, Barks? The basketball guy that gets all the news first hand. That was Adam.
Oh, Woj.
Woj, yeah. You're not Woj like trying to get a scoop or anything like that. Jeez, yeah. I had a real blank there.
I didn't know where you're going with that. Can I just say, Nick, I love how you've described your role. So 80% waiting. 80% of waiting, and then the 20% is making you look good. If you were just asked what's your role, you can just nail it with 2 quick points.
Here we go. Outside of the NBA, I guess, like, going back to the fact that it's a long season, you've got to keep motivated. How do you kind of find inspiration throughout the year? And is there any other teams that you constantly look for that you think are killing it? It doesn't have to be NBA specific, I suppose.
Yeah, I look across the street here. The Carolina Panthers, the NFL team, does a great job with their content. They do a lot of stuff that I like organically. The Phoenix Suns, their people are great. I know their people. The Sacramento Kings have a unique voice on social media. It's unique in how they describe certain things. and the execution of their video team is very good. I met them as well. And those are the three teams that I look at. Brooklyn does a good job. Brooklyn Nets, they do a good job. And obviously they've got some names, Durant and Kyrie there, that they can work with. So those are some of the teams that I look to that do a great job. And then just making each piece of mine better than the last. That's the goal.
That's an outstanding way to put it as well. You got to be living, take it day to day, and make the next thing better and better. Bucks, I think I might just quickly wrap up here, just in case we do run out of time. But Nick, Big Money, it's been such a pleasure having you on this show. I could sit here and talk to you for another 4 hours, to be quite honest with you. It's been really nice having you on. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, gentlemen. It has been a pleasure. It truly has. It's been fun, and I want to come back.
Well, we might have to have you back for part 2.
We'll gladly have a LeBron-based episode if you want.
I'm about it. I'm all about it.
No, we really appreciate your time, Nick. I absolutely loved it, as Jules said. So, no, we appreciate your time, and good luck for the season.
Absolutely, gentlemen. Thank you so much.